This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in.
I hope everyone's having a fun summer as we continue our series here, which we didn't think was actually going to go this far. Well, we probably knew it would. We always, try to fool ourselves, but it always goes this far whenever we have these mega projects. But that's all right because it leads to more discussion and more fun. And I always have fun with this guy whenever I do a topic with him. Let me bring in. He is one of the many voices of Criscuolo, and he, of course, is the Thunder from Down Under. Hello, Dave Hall. How are you?
I'm good, Scott. I'm good. Thanks for having me back again. I suppose it's not really coming back when it's your own show, but it's it's good to be back with everyone. So
yep.
I'm glad to be catching up. I know it's a lot warmer in your end of the world than it is in mine, although it's actually not that cold in my end of the world this year. So it's been pretty good to just hang out and I think this will be fun today. We've had these long journeys are always fun, and we see what chaos we can cause. I think we can cause a bit of chaos today.
Yes, we can. And it is good. You can always say we're back. I mean, we're actually back with everyone. You're always back with me. So of course, if you're new, now here's the weird thing. Now, Dave and I are doing some different things now. With the show, not some different things, but so if you go back to when we started the show way back in 2020, 2021, yeah, right in the throes of the vid. Most of our shows are standalone episodes, so you could go anywhere through the catalog on placetobe.podbean.com or any of your podcast catchers and pick a random episode of Through the Looking Glass and listen to it, and you won't have missed anything. All the topics are usually 95% of the time are standalones. We did do a series last year. We rebooked all of 2003, so that was multiple episodes. And we're doing a multiple episode right now. We decided a few months ago. We rebook a lot of things. That's what we do here on Through the Looking Glass. We go through time to an alternate universe where things turn out differently in the world of professional wrestling, whether it be different shows, different champions, different guys didn't die, guys didn't go to other promotions, etc. But we never did title lineages. So we decided, why don't we have some fun and clean up what many consider maybe some messes throughout various championship lineages. Of course, we started with the big one, and that is, of course, the WWE Championship. Which will be defended next weekend in Minneapolis by a guy that we're probably going to talk about tonight, actually, which is pretty funny. But a different world when it came to him. So part one. So this is if you're listening to this as your first episode, I'm actually going to say stop this one and go back a couple of months to our May episode and start from there. If you want to listen to this series on the WWE Championship rebook lineage, go back to May because that was part one. Part one, we went from the intro way back in 1963 until August of 2002 when Brock Lesnar won the title at SummerSlam. Then last month, June, we did 2002 to 2010. So we stopped at John Cena being champion at WrestleMania 26, and that's where we'll start tonight. Tonight we will pick up there from John Cena at WrestleMania 26 and probably go another decade because I feel like the last part is the vid era, which is a giant salad of goop that we're going to try to fix because a lot of weird stuff happened, of course, during the days of the Thunderdome. So we'll probably go about 10 years and go from there. So, all right. So where we left off, Dave, was March of 2010. Although we have John Cena back from bragging rights when he beat Randy Orton at bragging rights. And instead of all the mishmash title changes that happened in the Prime universe, which was Sheamus winning at TLC, then Cena winning it back, then Batista beating him the same night at Elimination Chamber, and then Cena winning it back at WrestleMania 26. We kind of kept it straight through. We felt all those title changes were kind of we got rid of a lot of those extraneous title changes throughout these first two parts. So let's go from here. So we're at March of 2010. And the next title change, we talked about Sheamus, Dave, on the last episode. Of course, in the Prime Universe, Sheamus pulled off the upset of the world by beating Cena at TLC 2009 to win the belt. We got rid of that because we thought that was dumb. In the Prime Universe, he actually wins a Fatal 4-Way with Edge and Randy Orton at the Fatal 4-Way pay-per-view in June at out in Long Island. Now, we said that Sheamus was due a title change down the road. Is this down the road, or are we still too early for him?
You know, I was thinking about that leading in. I was trying to get my head around where Cena was as a character. And I think we talked about the fact that in 09 it was probably a little bit earlier, but I think with another 6 months, and probably if you have used that time to really build him up, and I think, you know, you probably have him work a program with someone prominent, and you put him over big time at WrestleMania. I think you've got to the point now where Sheamus could be considered a genuine contender, a person who would be in line. Like, I think you've got an opportunity where you could have Sheamus having earned himself a title shot, and perhaps entering into a series of matches with Cena as a genuine, oh my goodness, this guy is big, he's strong, like, you know, he's different, he's young and hungry. I think that mid-2010 time period, I think you would have the genuine opportunity to pull off what would be considered the upset, but I think he has earned, by now he's earned the opportunity, and I think he would have earned the respect that while it's an upset to beat Cena, it's probably not a complete upset that Sheamus has actually done it.
Gotcha. Okay. So now I'm trying to remember who he pinned in that match. I honestly don't remember. So what you're saying is it okay? So is it okay here at Fatal 4-Way? Is this a good spot, you think?
Yeah, I think it's a good opportunity to have him pull it off, and you can do it. This is the scenario where you could what. So I've just looked it up in the real world. They were attacked by, before the match started, a bunch of NXT rookies jumped everyone and attacked Cena in the ring. But I don't think you would do that concept. And it says that Sheamus ended up pinning Cena to win the title. But I think with what the story that we may have built with this idea of Cena's coming up and he's going, you might actually have him beat one of the others so that you can do the genuine Sheamus Cena rematch afterwards, because Sheamus hasn't really beaten the champion. I think that storyline would work a little better in our universe, where you've built Sheamus up and you're sort of still going to be a little surprised that he wins. So you might have him pull off like one of those, you know, if it's Edge and Orton in there, Edge spears Orton, and then Cena FUs Edge, and he rolls out of the ring, and Cena FUs Orton, and then Sheamus manages to get Cena out and sort of steal the pin. So it's clean, but it's sort of, he stole it away from perhaps Cena, that Cena looked like he was going to win, but Sheamus has snuck in there like a. I mean, you got to remember, Sheamus was still a heel. And I think we forget sometimes that some of these guys, we went through this time period where, you know, it was the growth of the Triple H mentality of, well, heels don't act heelish, they act strong and have got to be dominant and all that, and never back down. But heels are heels. Heels are heels because they do things that people don't like. And what do? You steal the win from someone, you take it away, and when you don't really deserve it. And I think that's what you could do with Sheamus in this scenario.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So then, with Sheamus as champion, we go. The next title change in the Prime was Randy Orton won it at Night of Champions in September. Another multi-person match. This is what tells you about how kind of soft in the creative department 2010 was, because all these title matches were all multi-men because they really didn't know what the hell they were doing. So yet another multi-man challenge at Night of Champions in Chicago. It was Jericho, Edge, Cena, Orton, and Wade Barrett. Now, I'm guessing. Now, where was Sheamus? This is interesting. It was a 6-pack elimination challenge. It says Chris Jericho, Edge, John Cena, Wade Barrett, who cashed in his NXT title shot, and Orton. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 6. Okay, I counted wrong. Okay, so Sheamus is in this match too. Okay, I counted wrong. So Randy Orton wins it at Night of Champions, and then he feuds with Wade Barrett, who's like kind of got, there's the whole Cena, NXT or Nexus thing going on, and Orton keeps the belt for a couple of months. Orton was in a big babyface run here, huge babyface run, one of the best ones I think he ever had. One of the biggest babyface runs in 2010. And the night after Survivor Series, the guy who won Money in the Bank, we might want to talk about this. The guy who won Money in the Bank cashes in and becomes the WWE champion. Of course, we all know that is The Miz. 2 questions for you. Number 1, your thoughts on the Orton title change at Night of Champions. Number 2, what do we do about that Money in the Bank? Now, let me look back at that Money in the Bank match. So, The Miz won.
That would have been the 2010 Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank. It was Miz, Jericho, Edge, Evan Bourne, Morrison, Mark Henry, Randy Orton, and Ted DiBiase Jr. So the question is, are we changing that? Because that kind of is a big deal down the road. So question one. So question one, does Sheamus keep it after the Prime Universe title change for Orton, or do we let Orton win it here too?
No. So look, I think you nailed one of the key elements of where things were in 2010, and that was Orton was on a big baby face, one of probably outside of maybe the last couple of years, the biggest baby face run he'd had, when he was really seen as a big time face. He had moments, he back and forth between face but the reality is he was big time into it. Like, the crowd were very accepting of it at this point. So right. I think that plays in. I think I could see the benefit of taking advantage of that time period, and I think you would look at getting the belt on Orton at some point. Now, I don't know. I personally think with where we're at, I think what I would have done is, you've got Sheamus who's won the belt in this fatal 4-way. Then probably the next month in July, which would have been Money in the Bank, he defends the title against Cena. Rematch 1-on-1 versus Cena, and Sheamus retains the title somehow. Okay. Then you go into SummerSlam, that you could potentially look at putting 1-on-1 Orton versus Sheamus at this point, and you could have Orton take the title 1-on-1 from Sheamus, because I think one of the things I hate, you mentioned it, it's all these multi-man matches that just mean nothing. I think it takes away from what you're trying to do. And if you've got this Randy Orton on a heater, the crowd are behind him like they've never been behind him before, then I think you could capitalize on that. And you almost have used Sheamus as that transition champion. You don't want Orton and Cena to go against each other because of the babyface element. So Sheamus becomes the bridge, but you've made Sheamus look good in the process. So you've helped elevate him a little bit. And then you've put the belt on Orton in a one-on-one match, whether it be at SummerSlam, whether it be at Night of Champions. It could be at Night of Champions with that element, that concept in your head of the Night of Champions idea, and Orton's trying to gain it there. But I think it should be a one-on-one match and not this stupid, six-pack challenge.
Right. At SummerSlam, Orton and Sheamus had a title match, and there was a bunch of wibbly wobbly stips. If anyone interfered, they'd be suspended indefinitely, and if Orton lost, he would never get another shot as long as Sheamus is champion. I almost feel like Orton should have just won here, right? Is that kind of what we're leaning in a little bit, or
that's what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think you crown Orton there. The crowd go home happy. All the stipulations are in Orton's favor. Like, they make it that Orton should be going over. And I think that's what you want to do.
Well, and you want a happy ending, because that main event match was not a happy ending. Because that was the only time Cena ever pulled a that doesn't work for me, brother.
The powerful.
And to Cena's credit, Cena has admitted, we have talked about it. And to Cena's credit, he has admitted since then that he fucked up, that was wrong.
We've dealt with this storyline on a previous episode of Through the Looking Glass. We did this one a couple of years ago. So
we did. So go back.
So, I agree. So I think Orton winning at SummerSlam is where you crown Orton. And so now Orton is on the run. So now we come back to your other question, which is The Miz has Money in the Bank. What do we do with him? And I thought long and hard about this, because there's been a lot of criticism about The Miz being crowned, having a run with the title. But I think more important, it's perhaps what happened at the back end of the title reign. And I do think The Miz, we know, because it's been talked about, that The Miz's run as champion had a significant impact on another person on the roster, which created a lot of angst within that person and led to and we'll be talking about this very shortly, led to one of the biggest interview segments in the history of the company, which we all know about. So the question is, the question you have to ask is, if The Miz doesn't cash in and win the title, do we get the pipe bomb? There's a question that you would have to ask yourself.
Wow.
And this may not be the forum to really delve that question, but we might not get any further than 2010 in an hour and a half.
Pretty much. Yeah.
But I do think there's a lot of credibility. I think when you look at what Punk has talked about where he was in the company, what he was trying to do, where he was trying to go, it wasn't so much that Miz got the title as the Money in the Bank winner. It was the fact that Miz headlined WrestleMania with John Cena that irked Punk. Led to him letting his contract run down, led to him getting the resentment that led to the pipe bomb. I don't think there's any doubt that those things are all related. So if we come back to the question, do we want The Miz to still have a run? I think without The Miz getting a run with the title, we don't get the CM Punk that we all love, that we want. So I think the Miz needs to have that cash in, and he needs to have his run. Maybe we'll end it a little bit differently, but I think the Miz needs to win the title with the Money in the Bank.
I don't disagree with you, and I don't think anybody expected that. I think immediately on face value, I think everyone was thinking, no, of course, because the Miz title reign was, garbage. I think Miz, unfortunately, was always, again, I think this goes back to the inept booking. This also led eventually to what happened with JR. I hate 2010 WWE because that's what ultimately led to what happened with JR and I on the Please Be podcast. We started just running out of stuff to talk about because we both looked in the mirror and went, do we really want to talk to 2010 WWE? I'd rather talk to what sucks. You know what sucks too is, on a side note, and this might be something interesting, Dave. This might be a topic we discuss down the road. What if TNA won that opening night in January of 2010? What if that Impact succeeded? Because I feel like, TNA was red hot, doing really great from the late 06 when Kurt got there through the end of 09. Like those 3.5 years of TNA was really good. And then they tried to do the Monday night thing, and then Brett and Sean hugged, and then TNA shit the bed. But then what happens is WWE shits the bed, and then pretty much you have an entire year, pretty much WrestleMania 26 to WrestleMania 27 of crap, which sucks because I think the best wrestler that year is a guy that we've talked about a few times tonight, and that's Randy Orton, who I think had one of his best years as a pro in 2010. Yeah. And I feel it got lost in the shuffle. You had the Nexus, which was actually pretty great, and then Super Cena decided to drop his toupee on it, and that was the end of that. But you're absolutely right. You have to. This is one of the first times is that we've been doing this series, this little series here, Dave, where we're not making a hair trigger decision. Like, oh no, yeah, we just give it to somebody else because who the fuck wants Miz as champion? Well, if you put a better guy as champion. What's Punk got a bitch about? Right?
That's exactly right.
If you give the belt to, if you give the belt to, I don't know, if Orton keeps it.
If you let Orton keep it and have him as a dominant face champion, what's Punk's probably going to be one of the challengers. He's probably facing Orton at Royal Rumble or something like that.
Right. And then he doesn't get the boost. So yeah, I have to agree with you that we have to execute it. Sorry, Randy. We have to execute it. So on the November 22nd, 2010 episode, so the only thing we're doing so far is we're moving up Orton's win from Night of Champions a month to SummerSlam.
Yeah, and he wins one-on-one.
One-on-one with Sheamus, and what's probably a great match. And let's not discount the fact Sheamus was a good wrestler. Sheamus was very good in the ring. We just thought the TLC 09 hair trigger was dumb.
Yeah, and I think where you're going then with Orton winning in that set of circumstances, and like we said, we've put Sheamus over by beating, he's had a one-on-one victory the month before over Cena. So Sheamus is looking good. Orton looks good. Orton can be on a tear from SummerSlam to Survivor Series. He can have defense after defense, beating everyone one-on-one. He can be dominant. You can make him look like, my goodness, this guy is just about unbeatable at the moment, which plays into the Money in the Bank storyline. Then it becomes the shock. Then it becomes, oh my goodness, no one can beat this guy. And then Miz comes out, uses Money in the Bank, cheats to get the win, as the best Money in the Bank victories are by a heel, absolute undeserving, and sneaks away with the title. And then you book the Miz Then you book the Miz almost like the Honky Tonk Man in '87 and '88. You book the Miz as running every opportunity he gets, getting counted out, not wanting to compete, putting himself in matches that mean nothing, like the Jerry. I love. See, the other thing I love about the Miz, there are elements of the Miz's title reign I love. I love the idea of him facing Jerry the King Lawler at Elimination Chamber, because Lawler is a commentator. Lawler doesn't, it's that, yes, I thought the way they built the story was good, but in everyone's mind, Miz shouldn't be defending the title against Lawler because Lawler's not a full-time competitor. He doesn't deserve it. But if you've got the Miz doing the Honky Tonk Man, running and hiding and not wanting to face genuine competition, facing Lawler at Elimination Chamber makes perfect sense.
Right. Yeah. And
you had this reign of, look, the moment he's in the ring with someone legitimate and they can stop him from running and hiding, he will lose the belt. That's what you've got in everyone's mind.
Right. And that's why the bobbing and weaving happened. And obviously everybody, we look ahead and he's wrestling Lawler. I mean, it was all ridiculous nonsense. And then we get to WrestleMania in Atlanta and he retains in the upset over Cena simply because The Rock interfered. So we can build, 2 years to twice in a lifetime. Well, not once in a lifetime, the sequel, the Cena Strikes Back, but Cena ends up winning it at Extreme Rules on May 1st in Tampa. Another multi-person match. It was in a cage, but it was another multi-person match with Miz and John Morrison. And then Cena holds it until the Magic Night. We all know what the Magic Night was.
So the question is, do things sit? I mean, I believe wholeheartedly you've got to get the belt back onto Cena before we get to the pipe bomb. Cena's got to have the belt back in his hands because that's what makes that storyline work. But does it happen where it happened, or do you? Is WrestleMania the place that you crown that you end that Miz's? That little miserable running Miz, you end that reign there. Should the belt, and I know you've got The Rock and you've got all the crap with The Rock as the host and The Rock interfering, but I mean, it was a convoluted storyline to build to something else, of which then it became a year in the making, and we know that causes issues down the track. Do you make it that obvious and have The Rock do what he did at WrestleMania and the Miz retains and just drops it later? Or should Cena win the title from the Miz at WrestleMania? You finally got him trapped and even used The Rock to stop the Miz from hightailing it out the door.
Now, that could lead us to something down the road. Looking ahead again, because you've kind of opened the door now, Dave, with the Punk thing, that maybe we need to kind of ripple ahead before we make retro decisions. If Cena gets help from Rock to defeat Miz for the title at WrestleMania 27, do we kill the next night on Raw when we begin the 12-month build to once in a lifetime, the first time?
Well, there's the question. Like, do you need? I mean, The Rock is The Rock. Do you need The Rock to interfere in a match that involves John Cena for The Rock to be able to come out the next night and go, "I want to face you at WrestleMania next year"? If I was thinking in my mind, The Rock is, the Great One. Why does the Great One need Cena to be angry at him? Why can't the Great One come out and just go, "I'm the greatest. You claim to be the best now. Next year at WrestleMania, you, me, we can prove it to all these people, right? and I challenge you to hold that title till next year, and whatever, we can really, but they're two promo guys. I don't think The Rock needs that moment. In fact, if you had Miz try to leave the ring, try to get counted out, and The Rock as the host of the evening comes in the aisle and stops the Miz from leaving. Maybe he pummels Alex Riley and rock bottoms him on the floor in the aisleway, but sort of chases the Miz back into the ring. Then The Rock is standing there saying, the only reason you won the title is because I helped you, is because I didn't let the Miz run away, because I believe, champions should stand up and face their opponent. And, that's what it's all about. And, let's do it. And I'll prove it to you. You can stand up to me. You can face me next year at WrestleMania. We can do this once in a lifetime thing. And Cena, and he's got the caveat of, you wouldn't have won the title if I didn't help you, because Miz would have just walked out and would have been counted out and you wouldn't have won. So, I would argue you don't need the interference from The Rock to be able to book once in a lifetime, 12 months in advance.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, you're probably right. Rock could spin it his own way. So Cena's the champ. So we stick to that. We just back it up a month. We back it up a pay-per-view. So instead of winning it at Extreme Rules, he wins it at WrestleMania 27. So obviously, what you could do, you want to have some fun with it, because it's all about the moment. Take it. You can still have the moment at WrestleMania. Just you can have the title change first. Rock chases Miz. Rock just stops the Miz from leaving. He doesn't even need to touch him. Just he could be pointing at him. He backs Miz up, and Cena runs out and gets him in the aisle, throws him back in. They finish their match. So all Rock has done is stop Cena from leaving. Stop Miz from leaving. Cena wins the match. Rock comes in, raises his hand as the host, gives him the title, lifts his hand to the audience, spins him around, nails the rock bottom. Right? Yeah, and he can do the exact same thing can happen with the title change occurring. And that's when The Rock can say, I helped you and I showed you that I'm still better than you. It still sits. It still works. Yep, it does. It does. So Cena's a champ. We move ahead now to, of course, the big one. We can't obviously change this. We're going to change some stuff after this, but we're not going to change this. And that is, of course, going to July 17th, 2011. Money in the Bank in Rosemont. The place goes batshit. It's probably one of the top 5 matches in the history of the company, where CM Punk finally becomes the WWE champion. He beats John Cena. We get the infamous blowing of the kiss to Vince as he goes off. That was like one of my favorite. They never made a T-shirt with the kiss, which I thought would have been amazing. That would have been awesome. That would have been good. Yeah, that would have been great. So then we get all this rigmarole, which I really have no patience for. I'm gonna say to everyone, I think we can gloss over a little bit of this, because if you go all the way back to our very first episode, we covered the Summer of Punk, and we talked about what they could have done and how they could have made this title reign for Punk better at the beginning. So we've covered all this already, right, years ago. Suffice it to say, I think where we come to is you don't need all the crap of stripping of the title, winning it again, losing it, getting this happen, that happen. I think you can run a storyline that works, that Punk holds the belt continuously. Yep. Yeah, we had because what happened in the Prime universe, of course, they quote unquote stripped him. The following week, they would have a tournament won by Rey Mysterio, just so you could have Cena win it the same night. Also stupid. And then you've got 2 WWE champions for a month. And then, of course, Punk, I guess you could say, consolidates them at SummerSlam in LA. But that same night, we're definitely not doing this. We get the but unusual run-in of Big Daddy Cool. Kevin Nash attacks I can't even attacks Punk, allowing Alberto Del Rio to cash in his Money in the Bank. Cena wins it at Night of Champions. Then we have this is all just goulash.
Yeah, I think to summarize where we went years ago, I think we had this idea of Punk holds the belt hostage. The company's sort of giving you've got to turn up, you've got to defend it. So we had him defending it on independent shows and video footage being shown of him doing it, and Del Rio trying to turn up to cash it in, and then you've got to do it on a pay-per-view WWE event. So then he shows up again and he's defending the title there, and all the way along, Punk holds the belt, and we don't have all this chopping and changing, and Punk's basically got a continuous reign from Money in the Bank forward. Now I think he withstands. He survives the attempted cash in by Del Rio. You don't do any of these tournaments and stuff. Just one continuous reign.
Right. So Punk is champion all the way through
2012.
Yep. None of that changes.
All through the end. He has some good matches. He's unfortunately probably not being booked at the top of the card like he should be, but maybe in our universe he is. In
our universe he totally is. Because I'm sorry, Dave. I am not putting any matches involving John Laurinaitis at the head of any pay-per-view ever.
That's right. He can join Vince, and they can go into a back room with someone.
Yeah,
maybe each other.
Right. So yeah.
So I guess then we come to so basically then we get to the next controversy of what do we do, and that is the question of the second time you have once in a lifetime. Number one, does that even need to occur? And number two, does The Rock need a run with the belt?
No.
I honestly think Punk is at least holding the title. Now, is at least holding the title to WrestleMania. He should be defending the belt at WrestleMania 29. Whether he walks out with the belt, we'll talk about that in a minute. But I think anything that happens, this title reign that Punk has had and where he was at in the company, he should have at least walked into WrestleMania 29 main event as the champion.
Yep. No argument from me.
Okay. So that's where we get to. We've got this beautiful, near 2-year reign, 20-month reign of CM Punk from July 2011 to at least April 2013. That's a great championship reign. Puts him up there as one of the best ever.
Yeah. I mean, we're going from July 17th, 2011 until April 7th, 2013.
Absolutely. So the question is, what happens from here? Because I do think there is someone else starting to build up that is on the horizon of some of his storyline needs to remain intact. But how do we get there? And I'm obviously talking about the man who is going to have a big moment at SummerSlam in 2013, Daniel Bryan. So between WrestleMania and SummerSlam, we've got to ask the question: who goes into SummerSlam as the champ and all that? Look, I think the reality is that Daniel Bryan John Cena match is extraordinary in its own right.
It is.
So I would argue what I would consider doing at WrestleMania is the 3-way match. So that Punk's in the main event. Punk, Cena, Rock, 3-way match for the title, and Cena gets the title back there. I don't think Punk would have a problem losing the belt in the main event with all three of them in there.
Right.
I don't think
he doesn't get pinned.
No, absolutely. Cena pins The Rock.
Yep.
That's the way to go. So you can have a rematch the next month between Cena and Punk, and Cena can win that again. Cena can get his win back later on, and that's fine. You've already turned The Rock up. Punk is now a heel because he turned heel during the title reign. I think that works because Punk becomes the heel in the big match between the three of them, but Cena is given that opportunity to win the title. He can then beat Punk the following month in a rematch 1-on-1.
Yep.
And Cena does the march to SummerSlam.
Yes. I agree. I'll tell you why. The reason I like this is for a couple reasons. Number one, I think Cena needs to, because he does lose to Rock, and Cena needs to win the match at WrestleMania 29. I'm totally good with that. Punk can't bitch. He really can't. The guy had the belt for literal. I mean, I don't. I wish I had an app. He literally had the belt for like 500 days.
Yes.
It's like he can't really complain. And Rock got the main event, and Vince got a boost at MetLife. So, and I would have been pleased to be there live to watch that main event. On a side note, I'm trying to remember this. Did we give Taker an opponent?
I can't.
I don't remember.
I can't remember why. Because is that when Punk faced Taker that year?
Yeah.
So obviously Taker would need another worthy opponent. I'm not sure where that would fit because when did Brock beat him? Brock beat him before then.
Brock beat him the next year.
Oh, he beat him the next year. Okay, so the streak is still
intact.
Is still intact. I mean, look, you could. I'm sure you could find someone to bring in. Maybe you finally empty the money and bring Sting in.
Yeah. Why wait a year and a half? Right.
And look, you've probably got, to be fair, 2013 is you've had the rise of some big name, like some guys that were going to become the foundation of over the next sort of period of time. I mean, why not? Like you could have him facing. Oh, look, you could have him maybe like a Sheamus or maybe you built Sheamus and put him in that, or you've got Ryback had his big rise at the back end of sort of 2010 sort of 2011 into that time period. So
right.
maybe you look at building Ryback up. You've got a couple of guys that could be there, or do you dump out the Triple H Brock match and have Brock face Taker a year earlier?
Fine with me, because Triple H Brock, that match isn't that good. I didn't like it, and I saw it live. I didn't like it because I thought the gimmick didn't fit a building that big. Similar to years later, the next time at MetLife when Triple H fought Batista with the same gimmick, and again, that kind of gimmick isn't suitable for an 80,000 seat place. It's more suited for like an 18,000 seat place. But in any event,
and maybe you have Taker beat Brock here, and then in a couple of years' time, you pull the rematch with. Where you do have Brock get the win back. If you want it to be Brock who takes the and look, we've done an episode on the streak before. We've talked about all this before as well.
Yep, we have. Yep. Yeah, no, we're not gonna repeat it. I got a great theory though. What about, since Triple H doesn't have an opponent, we have Punk win the triple threat, and then Vince comes out and says this guy has one title shot left from 13 years ago, and Triple H comes down and he beats Punk in 12 seconds. No, I'm just kidding. And Kevin Nash comes out and boots him in the head and tears both his quads. No, I'm just kidding.
Dear.
All right. So Rock has the belt. Rock has the belt. Cena has the belt.
Cena wins at Mania.
Cena wins at Mania. All right. So Cena is champ. He holds it till SummerSlam, and now here we get back to this rigmarole.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big word I've been using. So Cena holds it till SummerSlam. He has that feud with Ryback. We don't care who Cena's face is between now and then. So Cena loses to Daniel Bryan.
Great match.
Fantastic match. Fantastic. It's in the top 100 of all time. There's two matches on that SummerSlam. That and Punk Brock, which I actually like a little bit better. But both matches are amazing. And then we get this. We get the whole beginning of the Yes Movement storyline. Orton cashes in his Money in the Bank. Triple H finally turns heel. We get the Authority. We get all the bouncy back and forth. The belts merge. Now here's where we get into a problem now. Now the belts are combined. Well, here's what happens. It doesn't really combine. Here's what happens. We're still with one belt. So Orton goes back and forth with it because then it's vacated, and then there's a bunch of Big Show gets involved. There's a whole big bunch of goulash. Cena and Orton have a match at TLC to merge the two belts because Cena's got the gold belt. They merge it. Then they have another match at the Rumble, which no one asked for. And now the World Heavyweight Championship. So the gold belt's retired. And now we still have so right now the WWE World Heavyweight Championship lineage remains the same. It's just renamed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we get obviously what Michael Cole affectionately called the Miracle on Bourbon Street at WrestleMania 30 in New Orleans, and Daniel Bryan wins the title.
Yeah. See, I think the beginning of the story and the end of the story have got to stay. I don't think you get the Yes Movement to the level that you get it without Triple H turning on him, Orton winning the title with the Money in the Bank cash in, and essentially them doing the whole "you are nothing but a B+ player,"
right?
Because that was what. Whether the WWE ever intended it to be the case or not, because we know they didn't actually intend for Bryan to win the belt at WrestleMania 30. We know that wasn't their plan.
No, it wasn't. Nope.
Whether they intended it or not, in my mind, as a fan and as a person who watched and seeing the fans' reactions, the fans came back to Stephanie and Triple H saying he's a B+ player and he's not worth it, and everyone in the audience going, "What the hell are you talking about? He's the best on the roster at the moment. He does deserve it." And the groundswell was built even bigger because it was seen as not only did he get cheated in storyline, but it feels he's being cheated politically. It feels he's being cheated backstage, and it grew and festered and grew even more. So I don't think you get the groundswell that leads to WrestleMania 30 without them getting the belt off Bryan as quick as they did. I think the beginning at SummerSlam and the end at WrestleMania, they've got to stay in place.
I'll be honest with you. I would prefer to just keep it on Orton the whole time. Leave it on Orton.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Orton wins. Daniel Bryan beats Cena at SummerSlam. Orton cashes in that night. And then you get, from then on, Orton keeps it to WrestleMania.
And the Authority and Triple H is his most greatest fucking scumbag asshole self that always just warms my heart.
Yeah, but this is the thing. But there's the thing. Absolutely. Instead of having Bryan maybe win it, not win it? Does he win it? Do they flip it over? Just have him constantly getting screwed. He has a rematch with Orton and Hunter screws him again. And then it looks like he's won the match, and you could almost do the old I'm not saying you go this far, but I mean we've seen it happen time and again where it's almost the Vince McMahon, the dude loves Steve Austin sort of thing. Oh, this match is now no disqualification. Oh, this match is now no. They just keep changing the rules on him one night.
It was. Oh, I love it. I love it. I just want my guy to just keep screwing him.
Yeah. So, but it looks like Daniel Bryan's about to win the match, and he wins it, but just as he's sort of won, we get the reminder this match is actually a 2 out of 3 falls match, and this match is now no disqualification. Hunter goes in and pedigrees him onto the ground, sort of.
Yep.
But it's that idea. So you're screwing him out of it. It looks like it's just. So yeah, I think Orton keeps the belt from SummerSlam, from cashing in Money in the Bank at SummerSlam all the way to WrestleMania. Orton holds it, and you unite the titles. That's fine. I've got no issue with that part of the storyline, because then that adds even more to this. He's the corporate champion. He's the the man that Hunter wants as he's the authority's representative. So I think that's where you go with it, and you just build up, and then you've got. Well, this is part of what we're supposed to be doing, but then you've got Royal Rumble. Do we put Bryan in the Rumble and have him win it? Does yes. Bryan get the shot at Mania because he wins the Rumble? And then the next question, do you still have Batista in the mix? Is it triple threat at WrestleMania, or is it one-on-one? Bryan beats Orton one-on-one.
No, I know what you do. You're going to hate this. No, I don't think you will. I don't think you will. So Daniel Bryan throws out the last guy. All right, we're at the Royal Rumble. We're in Pittsburgh. That's where it was. Yep. I remember the PIC went and had
Bryan comes out at 30. Bryan comes out instead of Ray. Ray doesn't get booed out of the building. No, Bryan
comes out at 30. Well, we think he comes out at 30. He actually comes out at 29.
Okay.
But we don't have a 30. Bryan is alone. We think he wins.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's confusion involving the numbers. And all of a sudden, at number 30, somebody takes off their jacket, their tie, unbuttons their shirt, gets in the ring, pedigrees Daniel Bryan, and throws him over the top rope. Oops. Guess I'm 30, B+ player. And now the authority is laughing, and Orton's laughing, and we're going to ruin WrestleMania. We'll hand pick your opponent. Orton will pick, like, I don't know, Hornswoggle or or they could just talk about you could do a backstage thing. Hunter's like, so I'm going to go out there, and you're going to lay a finger on me, and I will go down, and you will pin me at WrestleMania. Yep. We're going to finger poke ourselves. And then Daniel Bryan goes, and then
Nash in the background. With Nash is in the background when he's telling Orton.
Finger pokes. I told you it would work. But then we create the storyline with Daniel Bryan just starts going crazy, and he starts attacking people and all this other stuff. And he says, "You know what, Triple H?" And he starts, because the one thing we always notice, and it happened a couple of years before with Triple H hates being told that he hates being told that he's not as good as he thinks he is. And we get into that. We get into that at with Taker at WrestleMania 28, where the reason you really want to beat me so bad is because you want to do something Shawn couldn't do, because Shawn's pretty much better at everything than you. Daniel Bryan just finally starts getting into his head. And Orton and Stephanie keep telling him, stop. He's baiting you. Stop. And Daniel Bryan's like, Hunter, why don't you just look me in the face? You're just pissed off because I'm just yet another guy that's better than you. You walked around this whole company thinking you're the greatest, the game, but in reality, you're what? Like the 8th best wrestler of all time? I'll give you the 7th best. Shawn Michaels is better than you. The Rock is better than you. Punk already left the company. CM Punk is better than you. And then Bryan gets right in his face and goes, and I'm better than you. And it's driving him fucking nuts because he hates that. Of all the things, Hunter hates when he's told he's not the best. When you start talking the internet speak. Look, if anybody understands what goes on in that guy's head, Dave, you're talking to him, okay? So, all right? And so, Hunter, you want me out of your skin? I want to be champion. So why don't we do this? At WrestleMania, we open the show, you and I, one-on-one. Because I've noticed, Hunter, you just don't want to wrestle me. Walking around with your tie and your jacket and your stupid wife and all your bitching and moaning. Why don't you face me if you think you're so damn good? If you're the game, if you're the cerebral assassin, all your dumb, stupid nicknames. Why don't we walk into the Superdome right at the beginning of the show? If you beat me, I'll walk out that door. You'll never see me again. I don't care what you do at WrestleMania. You can have a bunch of midgets wrestle. I honestly don't care.
Instead of you'll never see me again, like not leave the company, but I will never challenge for the title again because you will prove I'm not good enough.
Right. You can B+ me all you want. You can put me in IC title matches. You can put me in cruiserweight. I don't care what you do. And I will not bitch. I'll do whatever you want. But if I win, I take your Royal Rumble title shot that you pretty much stole from me, and I go in the main event, and I pin Randy Orton, and I win it all, and you can't stop me. And that is how you do it, because that's how you get in, Hunter, because trust me, it happens every time. He hates when he's told he's not the best. He's tired of being told on the internet, internet Mountain Dew guzzlers that everybody else is a better wrestler than him. So Daniel Bryan, a product of the internet age, he's a great wrestler. I'm only teasing partially, but Steve Willie would hate when I say it. But he could say, I'm just another guy that's better than you. I'm just another guy that's better than you, Hunter. You can't deal. So prove it, tough guy. You and I opened the show. First match, WrestleMania 30, 70,000 at the Superdome. If I win, you could do whatever you want with Orton or the belt. I will, and you could put me wherever you want. IC title, US, tags, cruisers, midgets, women, I don't care. And I won't say a word. I will say, yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can fire me. Yes, sir. But if I win, I take your Rumble title shot that you stole from me, and I face Randy Orton at the end of the night. We don't even count Batista. We can take him out of the equation. And I get my last shot at Randy Orton for that championship that I know is mine. That's how you do it.
Love it.
Okay.
Love it.
Good.
That's good.
So there we go. So all that. So Randy Orton is champion from when Hunter helps him at SummerSlam all the way to WrestleMania 30. All right, so we're good there.
Yeah.
So Daniel Bryan's a champ. Now in the Prime universe, Daniel Bryan gets stripped because of a neck injury.
Yeah, the neck injury unfortunately derails.
Takes him out, yes. And then at Money in the Bank in Boston, I was at this show. This is a great show. There were 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches. One of them, of course, was won by Seth Rollins. The other was won by John Cena, who wins the title in an 8-man ladder match involving Alberto Del Rio, Bray Wyatt, Cesaro, Kane, Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, and Sheamus. I don't think there's anybody else that you could probably do there. What do you think?
Look, I don't think so. Again, if you plan to keep what happens next intact. I think the issue comes when you have a guy in this position who's had to succumb to an injury and give up the title because of injury. You really have to lean on, well, where do we go? You don't just put the title back on Randy Orton because you've had Daniel Bryan dominate and defeat him and overcome that barrier. So Orton has been dethroned. He's no longer the guy of the authority. So you've sort of ended that element. And you've had Orton and Batista and Triple H doing their thing with the Shield. I think so. You've sort of moved Orton out of that slot. So then you look at, well, if you've got to crown someone, you've got to all of a sudden crown someone out of nowhere. I think because of the momentum that Bryan had and the fact that Punk is no longer around, you probably don't have anyone with the momentum to be seen as a viable champion that the crowd aren't just going to turn around and just go, I don't know about that. And I think at least Cena, where he's still the man who generates the mixed reaction, he's accepted as the top guy. No one disputes that. So I think you need to probably just run that. Unfortunately, that's where you left. Cena becomes the better option available. The only other alternative might be to put it on Alberto Del Rio, but I think he had really come back down to earth by this point. He'd had his moment where his character was at its peak, and it's not now.
Right. So Cena keeps it at Money in the Bank. We'll keep that. Now, of course, we all know what happens. A couple months later in LA, the last one of the LA run at SummerSlam, we get the 37 suplex match,
which is just awesome.
Yeah, it is. So we keep this? So 12 years after he won it the first time, Brock Lesnar is once again the champion.
Yeah, and I think that's where I was coming from. Like, I think in the end, Brock is. With Bryan having been removed from the scene, Brock becomes. I think that's what you do. You want someone that Brock can beat to be like super credible. Like beating Cena the way he beat Cena made a statement. And I think Brock's the guy to move you forward when you've just lost Daniel Bryan to injury. Where do we go? What do we do? Putting the belt on Brock was the right thing to do for the direction of the company. It had a lot of credibility to it. It really did something to the title. It really elevated the championship, I felt. So, and you want Brock beating. You don't want Brock beating. No offense, but you don't want Brock beating Cesaro or Alberto Del Rio, and you really don't want him beating Randy Orton. You want him destroying John Cena because it just added credibility to who Brock was and what he was doing.
Correct. So he wins it at SummerSlam, and then we go all the way to WrestleMania 31 in Santa Clara. They had that awesome triple threat match at the Rumble, which I was at. It was a great match.
Converted into a triple threat match.
Didn't
start triple threat.
Well, no, the match at the Rumble was a triple threat. The
match at the Rumble, sorry.
The match at the Rumble was a triple threat. This match was made into a triple threat. Mid-match, or about 2/3 into the match, Seth Rollins cashes in his Money in the Bank, which we did not change. And he wins the belt. I think I'm okay with it still. I'm fine with it. Roman Reigns was not ready yet. The fans were not ready for him yet. So I'm okay with this. Rollins got a good run. Now he holds it. We get another injury vacate on November 5th. Seth holds the belt for 220 something days. He held it for a while. November 5th. He blows his knee out in a match with Kane in Ireland.
How many times has Seth Rollins got injured whilst being the champion? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's at least three times.
Ridiculous. Oh.
Yeah, it's at least 3 times. Roman Reigns wins a triple threat or wins a tournament. He beats his former Shield buddy, Dean Ambrose. But that same night, another Money in the Bank cash in. It's Sheamus. Sheamus cashes in. And then he holds it for less than a month before Roman Reigns wins it back on a Raw in Philly, where if he didn't win, he'd have to retire. He holds it until the 2016 Rumble. We all know what happens there. My guy wins a Rumble. Roman Reigns gets tossed. And then Roman Reigns wins it back. We'll stop there and backtrack. And at WrestleMania 32 in Arlington, Roman Reigns wins it back from Triple H.
All right.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Let's backtrack. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, look. Okay. I think we need our end point, and we need to look at. So Seth Rollins gets hurt. We can't stop that. I think we've agreed that Seth winning the title from that triple threat, that was a great moment. I don't think anyone has a problem with that. You've had Roman Reigns, and in our timeline, Roman Reigns has not won a championship yet. So I think it's really important to highlight that he has not been champion yet. So Rollins gets hurt, and then you have the tournament idea, and you crown Roman Reigns as champion out of the tournament. Now, I get where they're coming from. I get where you want to go. But to me, with everything that they had put or believed about Roman Reigns, and I know it's a long time before we see it truly fulfilled, but with everything they wanted to do with Roman, I cannot believe that his first championship reign isn't a crowning moment at WrestleMania. That to me is what you want these big long time players. Where do you crown them? Warrior got crowned at WrestleMania. Savage got crowned at WrestleMania. Yep. Austin got crowned at WrestleMania.
Yep.
Cena got crowned at WrestleMania. So did Batista. Like, these the guys that you're wanting to crown and push and drive as the face of the company are getting their first moment at WrestleMania. And so should Roman Reigns. So I think when you go back to this tournament, when you come out, when Seth Rollins has to be stripped of the belt, I don't think Roman should be winning it there. I'd be putting it on Dean. I think Ambrose should have won it. I think that would have made I think Ambrose was I think he was a better all-round wrestler at that point. I think he was probably the guy who they could have really laid in on that. And then you can build later the fact that Reigns is the only member of the Shield who hasn't won it yet. That becomes part of his storyline later. Right. But I think you put the belt on Dean Ambrose after Seth gets stripped. That's what I would have done.
Okay, that's fine. So you have Dean. Do you have a Shield match though? Like, does Dean hold it till WrestleMania and lose to Roman, or do you still have the whole Triple H thing?
When did Seth come back from injury?
June.
Okay, so he wouldn't have been ready
before that. It was somewhere between April and June, because he beats Roman at Money in the Bank, and then that night Dean cashes in his Money in the Bank and beats Seth to win it. And then the title's name goes back to WWE Championship. becomes exclusive to SmackDown because then the red belt is created, the Universal title.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
the WWE World Championship is when it's. So we're going to go back to another split, but we'll stay here with this episode till the end of the decade.
All right. So the reason I'm raising this question again, look, we are in our own universe here. Okay,
Right.
we can do what we want, but can you imagine? The reason I asked that question is, can you imagine if the main event of WrestleMania, Dean Ambrose goes in as champion, but the main event of WrestleMania is, for the first time ever, you've never run it before. The first time ever, it's the Shield. Ambrose, Rollins, and Reigns for the title at WrestleMania main event. To me, that becomes a big marquee match. That becomes a moment if you've built that up. And you've got Ambrose wins the belt from Rollins. He wins the belt in the tournament after Rollins doesn't win it. You could have Reigns win the Rumble, and you could still do the whole Triple H is trying to stop him, and because you're trying to build Hunter as the good guy, as the guy, Roman as the guy everyone wants, even though it didn't work. So you can still do the Hunter tries to stop him, but you have Reigns win the Rumble, and then when you're getting ready, and maybe he and Hunter can have a rematch at Elimination Chamber as sort of to confirm that it's going to be him. But then in the process of all this, Rollins comes back and says, I never lost the title. That's my title. I want in. And Ambrose being the gutsy, crazy guy that he is, I'll wrestle anyone, anytime. I don't care. And you build this three-way match between the three of them. And you crown Reigns overcoming both of his Shield teammates at WrestleMania.
Yeah, because that was the whole thing. I think that was the whole thing everybody loved, was the fact that it was the whole Shield thing. So we have Dean with the belt. So let me get this right. So Dean wins it at Survivor Series. He wins the tournament.
He wins the tournament final, yes.
Keeps it all the way through. So we have Rollins come back early.
Yes.
From his injury, and the
About
three of them.
Early.
And we have a Shield main event at WrestleMania 32.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think Rollins doesn't even have to wrestle before WrestleMania. Like he came back a month later. So we're not, we're fudging our thing, but I think, okay. Rollins done a good rehab. We've seen that he can work people before, and maybe he worked the knee injury a little bit more, and maybe it wasn't as bad as everyone thought. And he comes out, but yeah, it's that thing. And all the time underneath, you've got Hunter trying to stop Roman from getting to WrestleMania. So you've got, Hunter and Roman face off at, like I said, Hunter tries to stop him winning the Rumble. You either have Reigns win the Rumble, or Hunter stops him and wins it like he did, which we all hated. And, but you don't have to have Hunter go to Mania. You could have them face off at Elimination Chamber. And that's where Rollins returns. So Elimination Chamber, Triple H faces Roman Reigns, number one contender match for WrestleMania, and Reigns wins there. Ambrose defends the title in the Elimination Chamber. Ambrose wins there. And at the end of the Elimination Chamber, Rollins comes out. And he just comes out, like almost like Punk did at Survivor. He doesn't have to say anything. He just comes out. The music sounds, the crowd are going to react in a positive way. But he and Ambrose just lay eyes on each other. And then you could even have in that moment, then you could have Reigns' music sound, and Reigns comes out. So Rollins and Reigns are in the aisle. Ambrose is in the ring, and they're just staring at each other at the end of Elimination Chamber. And then the next night, Rollins can come out. I never lost that title. I deserve a match. Reigns says, I won. I'm the number one contender. I'm in it. And Ambrose says, I'll just fight you both. and it's on.
I'm game for that. I think it's more. I think everybody wanted it. I think that's. I feel like in the Prime universe, Dave, that's what they wanted.
Probably.
I think in the Prime universe, that's what they wanted. If everybody didn't get hurt. Yeah, you can have Seth come back, even if he's like at 90%, and he just cuts promos and walks around for a couple months.
And a three-way match, you can protect him a little bit in a three-way match,
right? Exactly.
He can have rest spots and not.
Yeah, you could have Dean do most of the yeoman's work in that match.
Yeah.
So all right, so Roman wins it there.
That's it. You crown Roman there.
Yeah. Yep. He holds it till Money in the Bank. So we skip this part because Seth doesn't win it at Money. I would have Roman keep it all summer.
I would too, and they can have a three-way rematch later in the summer. I've got no issue. You could have. I mean, SummerSlam could be the rematch between the Shield. I mean, you could have Reigns. Then you could literally go Reigns beats Rollins, Reigns beats Ambrose in one-on-one rematches in the following months. Then you could have Rollins and Ambrose have a match between them, because everyone gets multiple opportunities. It could be a number one contenders match that gets no resolution, and you get a three-way. You get the triple threat rematch at SummerSlam.
Right. There you go. And then the belt goes to SmackDown. So Roman Reigns goes to SmackDown, which is not what happened in the Prime universe. He stayed on Raw. And therein lies the question: Do we switch the belt? Do we need to get the belt off Roman before he changes brands? How about we rematch the triple threat at SummerSlam, and this time Dean wins it back? Yep. Yeah, I like that. And that way we can kind of keep the continuity in the sense that because Dean then goes to SmackDown because the belt splits because Dean will go to SmackDown with the WWE belt and then they create the Universal belt on Raw. And I remember everybody booed them. What about this? Number one, you've got Reigns we know Reigns is not being received well at this point in time. We know that. Okay. You do the triple threat rematch, and the outcome is both Ambrose and Reigns are pinning Rollins at the end of the match. So you've got this idea that they've both won. Like who's the so you go to Raw. Who's actually the winner here? Like they both. The ref has counted 3. Rollins is out. Ambrose has an arm on him. Reigns has an arm on him. Who's won the match? You can go to, and if you're wanting to split the belts, you go to, you do it. You do a draft. You do a situation where Ambrose gets drafted away, and they just go, well, they both won. One of them gets the new title. There you go. So it'll be Reigns. So we'll put Roman Reigns on Raw with the Universal belt. Yeah. And on SmackDown, Dean has the WWE title. Right. Now, in the Prime universe, the following month at Backlash, he loses to the guy who made his debut back in January. I am, of course, talking about AJ Styles. Yes. And then he keeps it until the Royal Rumble when Cena beats him in San Antonio to tie the record or break the record or whatever it was. He holds it for a month. Yeah. Then Bray Wyatt wins it again at the Elimination Chamber. And then Orton wins it at WrestleMania 33 in the LED cockroach match. All right. Well, that right. I love Bray Wyatt. I love the character. Yep. That championship reign was a waste. It
Not
was.
needed. Waste of time. I think we go back to our tried and true formula. If you are wanting John Cena to break a record, why the hell are you not wanting him to break it at WrestleMania?
Right.
AJ Styles versus John Cena at WrestleMania. That can you imagine that? Can you imagine how motivated Styles would be to put on the match of the century in that circumstance? I think you Styles beats Ambrose. Like what happened. I think Styles wins the title in September as he did because Styles was AJ and he needed it. You keep the belt on him until WrestleMania, and you give Cena that moment at bloody WrestleMania, and let them tear the house down. Because then you can put the belt on Bray Wyatt later.
Yep.
Because that's what I would do. I would have Cena win the belt at Mania, and then you've been building Bray Wyatt up, and Wyatt can beat Cena for the title at whether it be Backlash or, it could be on TV, it could be a Backlash, it could be at whatever. But I think you give Bray Wyatt a run after WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's fine. Better than what we get after WrestleMania.
Oh yeah. Yes.
For those that forget, and maybe you want to, in the Prime universe, Orton beats Bray Wyatt, but then a month and a half later at Backlash, he loses to Jinder Mahal. And that was supposedly to begin the opening up of the Indian markets internationally. Why you would hand your most prestigious championship to a mid-carder just for that reason, I still can't figure that out. He holds it until SmackDown in Manchester when AJ beats him, and then AJ holds it for an entire year. I forgot about this. He was WWE champion for a whole year.
Oh, yes.
Until a SmackDown in St. Louis when heel Daniel Bryan wins, when Daniel Bryan had that the eco-friendly wicker belt. And then in one of the greatest live moments I've ever experienced at WrestleMania 35 at MetLife, he loses to Kofi Kingston.
All right. Well, let's before we get to Kofi.
Yep.
Let's back up. I think what we do is what we just said. Cena wins the title at WrestleMania and Bray Wyatt beats him after WrestleMania. Whether it be at Backlash or the month after or whatever, Bray Wyatt gets a title run in the summer, and then AJ beats Bray for the belt. And then AJ keeps it and goes on his run like he did.
Yeah. That's fine with me.
Mm-hmm. And then I have no problem with Daniel Bryan. I don't know why we do these championship changes on television, but here's Daniel Bryan finally getting the title back, and he's beating AJ Styles after AJ Styles has won it for a year. I loved Daniel Bryan as a heel finally getting the championship back, and it's something it plays into the story that we've done because Daniel Bryan hasn't been mentioned pretty well since he got hurt, and he wasn't in real life. He'd been out for ages and got the clearance to come back. I think that's a great comeback story, but why waste it on television? AJ and Daniel Bryan, I mean, that could be a Survivor Series main event, right? That should just be, to me, that should just be on pay-per-view. That's all, or PLE or wherever we're at by 2018.
Right. Yeah. Once again, a lot of back and forth kind of nonsense. So then what we have is Cena wins it at WrestleMania, and we keep it till. So you still think AJ should win it?
I still think AJ should win it and go on that tear, and that's why I would have Bray Wyatt beat Cena at some point, and he's the one that drops it to AJ.
Okay.
But
So maybe
Cena,
we'll
I mean, Bray could hold it most of the summer. Bray could win, like I said, Bray could win it. He could win it at well, I said it could be Money in the Bank. It could win at any point.
Right. All right. Well, let's see. So WrestleMania 33 is in April. That's April. The next pay-per-view after that is Payback, and that is in April, the end of April in San Jose. That's kind of short. Yeah. NXT Takeover, no. Backlash is May 21st, and that's where Orton lost to Jinder Mahal.
What about the next event? The next month is Extreme Rules.
Yes, that's in June in Baltimore.
To me, the concept of Extreme Rules plays into Wyatt and the Wyatt family. Wyatt could play into, we're going to have an extreme match. We're going to, whatever. But you can play into the Wyatt family concept there, and Bray Wyatt wins at Extreme Rules. I feel that's where thematically it might, the mind games can be played.
I agree. So Cena loses it to Bray Wyatt at Extreme Rules.
Mm-hmm.
He holds it through Money in the Bank, which is in St. Louis. Then Great Balls of Fire. Remember that pay-per-view? That's in Dallas in July. Then we have Battleground in at the end of July. And then we have SummerSlam in Brooklyn. And that is where I have AJ beat Bray.
Okay.
And AJ wins it there, and I think he still holds it the whole year. And then I think because I agree with you, I'm not a fan of wasting title wins on TV.
I think Survivor Series, AJ can have it for more than a year, and Daniel Bryan wins it at Survivor Series.
I'm just shooting ahead here. Evolution, that's the women's pay-per-view. Crown Jewel, we're not doing title changes. Oh God, that was I don't know. Crown Jewel 2018, the main event was that DX Brothers of Destruction match. Maybe we put the title match there, and then we can forget that match ever happened. We can forget that match ever happened. Survivor Series 2018, which is at Staples Center, and there we can have Daniel Bryan beat AJ to win the belt.
Yes.
And then he holds it with his, granola crunching and wicker basket and, title belt. And then
we get to WrestleMania 35.
We get to WrestleMania 35, and Kofi Kingston wins it there.
Well, does he? Does Kofi Kingston win the title there?
Oh, what are we talking about here?
Well, look, I'm not denying it was a moment. I like Kofi, but I always liked Big E more. I loved Big E, and I always
What
wondered
are you doing, Dave Hall? What are you doing?
I always wondered why Kofi got the opportunity before Big E did. I think Big E's better. I'd love to see Big E get a title reign earlier.
Okay.
I'm throwing out as an idea. I just think if you're looking at this New Day idea, and yes, okay, we're going to give Kofi the opportunity, and that's great, and it was all good, and we all love it, but everyone loved Big E too, and Big E, he come in with the pedigree. He'd been the NXT champion, and he'd been he'd been a player for a while, and he was an equal with Kofi. He and Kofi were there together. I think you could almost play a similar story. I always like the idea of Big E being who you look to put the title on earlier. I think they really wasted Big E's opportunity, and by the time he got the belt, unfortunately, it was just the time period wasn't quite right.
Right.
With COVID and all the crap that had gone on there. But I just love the idea of Big E winning the belt at WrestleMania. I wish he got that moment. That's my thought, but I'm happy to be talked out and Kofi runs it. But I just think it's something different.
Well, I do like the concept of a New Day guy winning it. Obviously, I never considered Xavier Woods a main event player, so that's fine. But I don't know, Dave. I think we're at an impasse because I kind of like Kofi winning it. But I want a New Day guy to win it, so I'm fine either way.
Because then I think it looks at where you go later in the year, okay? Because then we come back to this idea of, do you put the belt back onto Brock? And
yeah,
and whether or not that's the right move, because we're approaching unfortunately the dreaded virus is very quickly coming upon us. But did Brock need another run? I guess I'm looking ahead. I love Drew McIntyre winning the title at WrestleMania 36. I love that moment. I think Drew, you keep that moment. Drew winning the belt. But whether he needs to win it from Brock or so, but I don't see Kofi keeping it through 12 months. That's just not going to happen.
No, it does. It's not.
So what are some options here? I'll throw an option in. I'll tell you what. Here's an option. We want to have some fun. Let's play around with this a little bit.
Okay.
Kofi's won the belt, and everyone's happy for him, and the New Day are happy for him, and Kofi's on this run, and Big E starts to feel a little left out. Big E feels a little slighted. Big E feels that maybe Kofi is ignoring him now. His friend is got all these things, and maybe Big E decides he wants the shot himself, and Big E decides that he's going to take it upon himself to get a shot. And so perhaps Big E wins Money in the Bank. I'm not cashing in the way. I'm not just going to, he turns to, he wins Money in the Bank, and the next night on Raw, he looks at Kofi and says, I want a shot. And Kofi, no, we're friends, and Kofi can play it. We're friends. We don't do that. And that's the problem. That's the problem. I want a shot. You don't want to give it to me, and I'll take it. And Big E just pummels him, beats him down.
Wow.
And so Big E essentially turns heel in this process, and you get Big E Kofi. That would probably be around SummerSlam, so a little bit earlier than what the title change had. But you put the belt on Big E and have Big E run through to the following WrestleMania, where he faces Drew for the title. Big E and Drew for the world title at WrestleMania. That would be an absolute barnstorming match, I reckon.
Wow. Oh. Holy shit.
And to me, that plays into the whole concept of this podcast, which is some strange things happen in the mirror universe.
Yeah.
And I think I love the idea of Big E feeling left out. I always thought Big E was the best of the three. I know Kofi's a better in-ring. I get that. But I always thought Big E's character, his charisma, his whole package, he was the best of the three. I just love the idea of him turning on Kofi to get the top. After he loses the belt to Drew, he can have a change of, and during COVID, he can have a change of heart and reconcile, and New Day can be back together again moving forward. But But I think, and how good would it be for Drew to? I mean, it's another Hoss match. He and Big E can have that Hoss match. You don't need Brock involved. Big E losing to Drew becomes just another Hoss match, but it's something different. It's a new Mania main event rather than the same old, same old.
Right. Huh. Well, I mean, I definitely would like to see Big E win the belt eventually, but wow. Breaking up the New Day like breaking up the Shield. You are a naughty boy, Dave Hall. Yeah. All right, I'm game. We'll do that. So Kofi still wins it at WrestleMania 35. And he holds it through the summer, and Big E starts getting a little pissed off, like, I want a title shot. And, Kofi's trying to like play the friend card on me, but he should offer it to me. Kind of like Andre. He could even mention, 40 years ago, Hulk Hogan played the friend card to Andre the Giant. And we all know what happened there. And then, the difference is I won't screw it up. And, all right. I like that. And that takes us to the end of this chapter. So we go from John Cena at WrestleMania 26 all the way to WrestleMania 36. In our Prime universe, there's no I guess we can't help not having COVID, but that we could still work our next episode, which actually we will probably continue this in September because obviously August we usually do a special SummerSlam episode. So we will go from here, WrestleMania 36, night two, because we're at the 2-night Manias. And go from there. So I think we did a pretty good job, Dave. We definitely did some dipsy doos. You joked with me in our chat about I can't wait for my 5-year CM Punk reign. we practically almost gave him one. So, yeah, that was amazing. We did a great job. Hope you all enjoyed it. And we'll be back in September where we will finish off this timeline change from WrestleMania 36, right in the beginning of the throes of the vid, to now. And we'll see who because by the time we get to this September, we might have a different champion than we do right now. Be interesting to see. So, Dave, always a pleasure as usual. Where are you guys? Where are you guys in the Chronoso? Now, last month when we were chatting, you said you were on the build to SummerSlam 91. Where are you now?
We are still on the build to SummerSlam 91. We're closing in on that, but it's been muddied by the fact that we are also working through 1984 on the Chronoso fallback series.
Yes.
So we've sort of been playing between the two, and my goodness, we are building to a big time in 1984 because we're just in the process of getting the next series of 84 episodes ready. But we are just about to hit on the true rock and roll wrestling era because we are on the doorstep of some big stuff coming up soon, including people being smashed by coconuts, boot camp matches, and one of the most legendary rock and roll or pop performers of all time appearing in the company. It's all happening in 84 as well. So yeah, it's tune in, follow along. But yeah, it's going well. So we're just about to launch into May of 1984, and we are closing in on some of the sort of July, August of 1991. So that's what will be happening over the next couple of episodes.
Okay. I'm enjoying that very much. Sadly, as you noticed last week, we couldn't pull it off. Steve Willie got sick. So we are going to actually have 4 out of 5 main events this month. We tried to do 5 in a row, but Steve got sick last week. So we will have a main event this week to conclude the month of July. We will have a SummerSlam preview, and we'll do some other fun things. Dave and I will be back in August. We will have another SummerSlam throwback episode. And then we will continue with this in September, where we will go from WrestleMania 36 all the way to the end. And then we will come up with our next lineage that we're going to mangle and fix, because every title lineage is broken somewhere. So check us out on all of our socials. And, of course, check us where all of your podcast catchers are. Go to the Place to Be Facebook page this week. Of course, we'll have a new episode of Wrestle Tracks that Greg and I will be doing. It will be Fully Loaded 2000. Hope you enjoy that. And yeah, so there we go. Dave, always a pleasure. Enjoy your winter. Wish I had your winter. Because our temperature, what cracks me up is our temperatures are probably not that far apart. We're in 2 different complete seasons. So anyway,
that's exactly right.
Have a great July, everybody, and we will see you in August through the looking glass.